put a bow on things, Jimmy.
That's a perfect challenge. 4-3 is, to me, is the perfect challenge.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that hits us exactly where we need to go. So, but we did have some beef. Yes. What we want to call it?
It seems like it was more than that.
Yeah, it was definitely some disrespect there.
So yesterday you had the Saints in Chicago to face the Bears, and I don't know what quarter it was, but a fight broke out between Bears wide receiver Javon Wims and defensive back for the Saints, C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yep.
Wherein the most famous clip of this show that after a play, Wims gingerly walks up to Gardner, attempts to snatch his chain. I'm still confused as to whether or not he actually did. Hits him in the face, punches him in the face helmet once, and then does it again even harder. And then that's when the melee broke out, when people joined the fight. It was this big thing. Javon Wims has already been suspended for 2 games by the NFL.
Yeah.
Just bloody nightmare, etc. And I've heard after this the reasons that each person gave for what happened. Javon Wims, he said that he was spit upon by C.J. Gardner. That was his worst offense. C.J. Gardner denies this. However, video does show that C.J. Gardner not only at some point in the game ripped the mouthpiece from Javon Wims, but he also stuck his finger onto the face of Anthony Miller, another Bears wide receiver, in that this played a definite role in what had happened. So that's all that I've heard as far as why this fight occurred on the field. This wasn't just any game. This was what Fox calls their game of the week. This was Aikman and Buck, their number 1 broadcasting team. They were there. So everybody was watching this game.
This was the game to watch.
Drew Brees was in this game.
Yep.
So I'm hoping you can make some sense of what the hell happened.
Okay, so this is what happened, and we got to give a special shout out to Evan Sachs on Twitter. You can follow him at Evan Sachs with 2 A's, and he kind of broke down exactly what happened with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Javon Wims. This is what started off. So you're right. The initial portion of it was second half, first possession, second half. They exchanged words. Mm-hmm. So CJ ripped the mouthpiece off Wims. And then, of course, it falls to the ground. And Wims is subbed out afterwards. So he couldn't retaliate the next play, nor did he get a chance to grab his mouthpiece. Well, the next play, his mouthpiece is still on the ground. They had a delay of game penalty, pushed them back, and one of his linemen ended up throwing his mouthpiece out of the way because it was out there. So Wims never got to. This basically started boiling up after a while. Then you had the situation where Chauncey did the same thing to Miller. He put his finger in his face, and he pulled his mouthpiece out also. And because of that, so what Wims did was Javon decided to go over. I thought he was attempting a chain snatch. I thought we had a Atiq Khalib situation with Krabby Patties. Yeah. No. He went to snatch his mouthpiece off as well. And retaliation. Okay. Didn't get all of it and decided to forget it. I'm just going to throw some haymakers.
Okay. Plan B.
Plan B. And you have to be at the highest level of pissivity to go about hitting a player with your bare fist or glove fist to their helmet. Mm-hmm. It was obvious he was hot. And so I was thinking about it. I did a little research on CJGJ, which I was trying to figure out if he is another Cortland Finnegan. Uh-huh. I remember Cortland Finnegan, right?
I do.
For the uninitiated, Cortland Finnegan was a corner that played college ball at Samford, very small school, but he spent most of his career with the Tennessee Titans. He is infamous for being a antagonizer, is what he was basically really good for, in starting fights. And he had the on-field incident where he got into a fight with Steve Smith. He got into it with a guard with Chris Cooper, with the Broncos. Mm-hmm. And then the one that we all remember the most, where he literally got into a physical fist fight with Andre Johnson, probably one of the quietest wide receivers in NFL history. Mm-hmm. Andre was just tired of him. Mm-hmm. It got to the point where Andre Johnson ran up on him and just wanted to start haymaking on his helmet. It's the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life. So I'm watching this. And I'm like, okay, is this dude trying to snatch this man's chain? And then when I read the rest of him trying to snatch the mouthpiece, I felt like the chain would have been a lot more disrespectful and a way of showing him who's boss because of how pissed off he was. Because, I mean, you think about it. You target only marks when it comes to chain snatching. You go after a guy that you know ain't going to retaliate. Like, I wouldn't go after the wrong dude on the chain snatching because when you chain snatch somebody in the streets, that's disrespect. That means that you're trying to fight. That means somebody's got to die. That's like old school Westerners where we're going to have a duel, smack you with the, like Charlie Murphy talked about. I smack you with the duel. Yeah. I smack you with my glove. We're going to have a duel. Next thing you know, we go outside, somebody gets shot and killed.
Right.
That's what it's like getting your chain snatched. Because usually what happens afterwards is the person that does the snatching of said chain, they have a tendency of selling said chain back to the snatchee. And if you get your chain sold back to you after it being snatched, you are a mark.
Right.
And so I was wondering if this was one of those scenarios and it didn't end up look like it. It was more so him trying to snatch his mouthpiece just to get revenge. But still hilarious as hell that this dude was actually pissed off enough to start punching him. His helmet.
Who this reminded me of? This reminded me of the fight that AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey had.
Oh,
that's what it really makes. And like you said, quiet receiver, great receiver, quiet receiver though.
Just tired of the talking.
In sort of the same, sounds like the same kind of antics from from the antagonist in this situation. And just like with AJ Green, and I imagine the Andre Johnson with Cortland Finnegan fight was like this, but especially the AJ Green Jalen Ramsey fight, and with what Javon Wims did to CJ GJ, as far as just out open field. Broad daylight, everybody's going to see it. You know you're going to get in trouble, but it matters that much to you because you're that pissed off to do it anyway. To me, that sends a very clear message that if there was an offense that just went beyond sort of the usual get in your head type stuff that happens on the football field. This was about manhood. This was about something much deeper than that, because not only was he getting him back for what he did to him, but for what he did to his brother on the receiving corps, Anthony Miller, as well. So when this happens like this, when they don't wait till at least after the game, or maybe trying to meet up somewhere in the tunnel, game's over with, where it can just be me and you, or we don't have the pads on, we can really square up.
Yeah,
like two men are supposed to.
Parking lot.
Yeah, that he couldn't wait for that, and he had time to think. Like I said, I say gingerly walked up to him, but he had plenty of time to think about what he was doing and the implications of it. But to him, the whole way there, he's probably giving himself more reasons why this needed to happen this way.
The funniest thing, though, of all of it, I'm looking at this video right now, is when Wims hit CJ GJ the first time. And he looked at him like,
did he just
wait,
hit me?
he just hit me?
What?
And then he hit him again, and then they started scuffling out.
Yeah.
That's the look of a man that knew why he was hit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, shoot, I really got underneath this dude's skin. Mm-hmm. He really hit me. And then they started scuffling it out. That's what that told me. Because, I mean, all right, let me ask you this before we wrap things up. Do you think that the punishment was excessive?
2 games for Wims. No, I think it was actually a bit. They took it a little easy on him, because I was thinking maybe 3 or 4 games for this. But like I said, the setting, open field, game of the week, Drew Brees is there, your number 1 broadcasting team, et cetera. It looks bad for your product.
I get you.
So 2 games, I think that's fair, I think, to get the message. But I honestly don't think that he should be the only one getting suspended, because, I mean, if there's video evidence to verify what CJ GJ was doing, then maybe he deserves a game as well.
He was just being a typical corner. He was antagonizing people.
And such, like
he was antagonizing. That's what they do. That's like the role of the corner. They get underneath their skin. But to be honest, no, I don't. I think it was unfair. I don't think it was a fair sentencing. Yep. This is not common. This is not common for these levels of suspension.
So what were you
when
thinking?
Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan got into that fight, $25,000 fine. That's it. And guess what? I think it was on Monday Night Football. No, it was Sunday Night Football. So yeah, I don't think that. No, I'm sorry, it was Sunday afternoon. So, but I know it was on TV because I was watching that game. Now, I don't think that was. I think it was excessive.
Okay, so the fact that they gave him games sends a message not just to him but to his franchise that we don't want this as a part of our product. Yeah, we can find him $25K. He's probably not a highly paid player, so he might feel it a little bit as opposed to someone who's got a big contract. But they had to send a message.
He's going to feel it even more. He's losing game checks now.
Yes.
So I think it's totally unfair. They should have just fined the dude $25K, send him on his way.
He should have planned better. He really should have planned better. Wait till after the game, like recently Jalen Ramsey and Golden Tate or
well, that's different. They're going to see each other regardless because they're related in theory.
But they only got fined money. But they had a full fight too. On the problem was there wasn't good film on that fight.
No, there's no good
That's
film.
the
I'm so
problem.
pissed off about that.
I
just want to see it. I just want to see
it.
it.
It looked like an even matchup. I really wanted to see that.
Oh, heck yeah. You know, it'd be good.
But
size wise, yeah, they're about the same.
Yeah, he's got to plan better. I mean, this is going to happen again. Somebody, now that they know he can be gotten like this, so he's just got to plan better. That's all.
I can see that.